So we are standing on the left side of the body and showing the clavipectoral fascia dissection. So we can see the incisions, one vertical incision from the jugular notch up to the fourth intercostal space. Then we'll take one from the lower end of the vertical incision. We take an oblique incision up to the anterior axillary fold that is continued into the arm up to the junction of upper 1/4 and lower 3/4 of the front of the arm. Another incision is continued from the lower end of the vertical incision straight downwards, and we go up to the lateral wall, chest wall, below the anterior and posterior axillary folds. Another oblique incision along the clavicle up to the acromion process. Now we will reflect the skin along with the superficial fascia. Then this is the deep fascia. Alright. Now what we can see here is the pectoralis major muscle. We can see the twisted fibers of the pectoralis major forming the anterior axillary fold. If we go further on towards the shoulder, we see the rounded contour of the shoulder is formed by this deltoid muscle, and in between the pectoralis fibers, major fibers, and the deltoid is the deltopectoral groove that contains the cephalic vein. The cephalic vein is accompanied by the deltoid branch of the thoracoacromial artery. Now if we reflect at the sternal and the clavicular heads of the pectoralis major are cut, that will help us to reflect laterally the pectoralis major muscle. So now what we have, the triangular muscle that we can see here is the pectoralis minor under cover of the pectoralis major. Now we see fibers that are running, nerve fibers that are piercing both the pectoralis minor and the pectoralis major. These are the branches, the medial pectoral nerve, Now if we take a closer look, now this is the upper border of the pectoralis minor, and here this is the clavicle. So this muscle under the inferior surface of the clavicle is the subclavius, and the span between this region, this is the region of the clavipectoral fascia that we had to cut so that we can see the structures piercing it. If we take a closer look at the region of the clavipectoral fascia, what we see is, we can see the structures that are piercing the clavipectoral fascia. The first one is the cephalic vein. This is the cephalic vein that will go and drain into the axillary vein. Then we have the lateral pectoral nerve. Just trace it and see the lateral pectoral nerve going and supplying the pectoralis major muscle. And we also see the branches of the thoracoacromial artery. Now if we reflect all this muscles, we will see this arising from the second part of the axillary artery. Second part of axillary artery because it is the part behind the pectoralis minor muscle. So now if we check the branches, we see the clavicular branch. This is the pectoral branch going towards the acromion. This is the acromion branch, and this is the deltoid branch that will lodge in the deltopectoral groove. So see how this thoracoacromial artery branches like a flower and towards 4 branches. Alright, this is the nerve. So we can actually see the origin of the artery from the second part of the axillary artery. This is the thoracoacromial artery.